Path Solutions has over 2 decades of experience building network monitoring systems designed to give you total network visibility. TotalView's automation means it can be fully deployed and configured in minutes, monitoring every device, interface, and server in your entire infrastructure. And it goes deep, collecting performance, configuration, 19 different error counters, PoE, and QoS statistics on every single interface. Now, all of this information is automatically analyzed to produce plain English answers. Problems get solved faster because more information and intelligence is brought to bear. This is what total network visibility is all about, knowing more about your network than with any other solution. TotalView is easy to acquire, as everything is included in the core offering: NetFlow, diagramming, path mapping, server monitoring, network automation, IPAM, cloud service monitoring, and more. Putting your trust in a monitoring system can require a leap of faith. From inception, TotalView has a more secure architecture and build process that helps to protect their customers. Contact Path Solutions today, where you can learn more about their competitive upgrade program, Total Network Visibility, rapidly deployed. Find out more at www.pathsolutions.com. So hey everyone, welcome. This is the Network Collective live stream here, weekly live stream. So Tony, man, how you doing? What's up?
Wow, man. It has been one heck of a day in preparing for this week, and it's been very exciting. It's been totally cool, but like I'm happy to finally, reach that plateau where like finally we're going live. I'm no longer giddy about cutting it down to the wire because I was doing some last minute things to prepare for the show right before we went on, and then we had the problem with my microphone, and oh my gosh, so. Yeah, I'm ready to chill. I'm ready to chill and hang out and see our friends. And how have you been?
I have a very similar experience. And so when I say that, like today was a very busy day, and just been a lot of churn and getting to this point, like to get to here. So like I'm at this point, like I have, this show could be awesome or this show could be awful. I'm just glad that we're here. Because that's there. Although I'm excited because there's some stuff going on. There's some stuff going on. So first off, we're gonna talk a bit about what's going on in the industry, and we'll get to that in a second. Specifically with Kevin says he's here for the stonks or the stocks. We'll have to chat about that for a second as well. But we're gonna hit up the news with the story that just keeps on giving as it relates to SolarWinds and some of the stuff that's going on there. Because I feel like that's all. I mean, this show might as well just be all about the SolarWinds hack. It seems like all we talk about, but it just keeps getting more dramatic,
juicier. Yeah. It's totally dramatic. I love it. And I said this last time, like what an amazing time to be alive in where we are with networking and security and the amount of visibility we can extract from our networks. I've mentioned this before. I follow Eric Helmvik of, and I may be pronouncing that last name wrong, so please excuse me, of networksec.com, the guy who makes Network Miner, awesome free tool for digging into PCAPs. He has been putting out research blog after research blog and tools to help decode some of the command and control traffic that was hidden in the DNS requests. Right. This was huge. This was amazing. I mentioned this last time. He recently published a blog, I think it was Monday. And that blog, I immediately started seeing posts in Twitter from Wired and The Register and all the big publications that were quoting him as a researcher has now released this blog. What he did was, through the use of his tool and through gathering tons of passive DNS data, he was able to decode what was contained within those DNS requests. And I mentioned before, it's a unique identifier. It indicates whether or not antivirus is turned on that system, what the antivirus product is, as well as the local domain that machine is joined to. So what he was able to do was extract all the local domains that they was able to completely build, right? Some of them are still fragmented. We don't actually have enough passive DNS data to build them. But there are like 23 like Fortune 500 companies on there, like big names. I think some of them was like a $5+ billion company. This is huge. And some of those have come out and confirmed that they were part of the attack, that they have been attacked too. So it's well known. But the rest of them on there haven't publicly confirmed. But here it is. Here's the data, right? And this is one of the things I love. You know, people always say like a PCAPper didn't happen, you know, or trust the PCAP. Well, you could just broaden that to say the data. Here's the data. Right. And here's what the data is telling us. So these organizations have had some level of infection. And I think this indicates that they've made it to the stage 2 infection. And that's pretty telling. This is one of the things I told you last week, and everyone who's been part of these live streams as this story's been unfolding. I said, don't you want to get your hands on this tool and all of the DNS logs from your organization and see if you're in the list?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So now there's these 23 big companies who are on there. Qualys is on there. Cisco is on there. State governments are on there. Federal governments are on there. DoD is on there, as well as many other big companies. I think maybe Palo Alto Networks was on there as well.
It was.
Yep. Yeah. I know Palo Alto Networks was part of it, but I don't know if they were part of his list of 23. I should have had the link ready, and I'm sorry I didn't. But yeah, absolutely amazing. So if you want to be following this, I've been following Eric's blog since the last week of December as it relates to this incident. So this is totally cool. He's done an awesome job of doing research down to the bits and building tools that are free for everyone to use. Download them, use them, take a look for yourself. I'm taking a look here. NSAnet.local, Palo Alto Networks, state governments, Qualys, more government, Fidelis. Fidelis is a cybersecurity company based here in Maryland, where I am, and they confirmed their breach just I think maybe this week or last week, and they kind of discussed how to do incident response and how to move forward. Because they are a cybersecurity company, and they've also been part of the attack. So now they're doing their own incident response. Is pretty cool. And one of the things that was brought up in many articles was, there were 2 domains in there that were listed. One of them was wincorewindows.local. And some people are suspecting that maybe Wincore, that maybe Windows, the Windows core development, the internal core development team was one of the targets. And I think what it turned out to be was this is actually a window company, and maybe somewhere in Virginia, I think is what it was.
Oh, that's fun.
Because there's another one also, which was called wctc.msft, right? So that's a Microsoft internal domain. So we think that maybe, or I say I'm really just taking the consensus from everyone doing the research, that maybe Microsoft was one of the original targets. And you can kind of see a timeline on how these were identified. Once this DNS request made it back to C2, the operator, the threat actor, made a decision to move that target to the stage 2.
Right.
And in each one of these, they moved it to the stage 2 operation. And that's so important because there was a lot more people hit by stage 1, and the threat actor said, no, we're not interested in that domain. But judging by the domains that were listed, then they started saying, well, we want this one to go to stage 2. We want this one to go to stage 2. Very selective on who they were breaching. That is super cool.
Yeah, it's very interesting, cool. Right? Because typically when we see this type of malware, they're not selective, right? The idea is to get as many machines as possible. It's only when we get in the realm of state actors do we start seeing selective attacks, trying to stay under the radar, trying to do things to not be detected, right? So the question, right, is how long standing is all this stuff? I think we're still investigating, like, when did it all really start? And then the question is, how much has it moved on? Do we catch some sort of like mid sequence in this? Is it really phase 2? Because we keep learning new things. And so in keeping learning new things, like, we don't really know all there is to know about who's been attacked and what the profile looks like. And it just keeps morphing, which is pretty interesting. It continues to be interesting in the way that things change. So I can assume that we'll continue talking about this for a while. Maybe not every show. I don't know. It just really is kind of depending on what's going on. There was some other big news today, completely not tech related, but just kind of lit the world on fire between yesterday and today with the financial markets in the U.S.
No, I think that's totally tech related, because this is all starting from a website.
Yeah,
I mean?
well, the
It's all
website
started
is the
from a
conduit.
website.
Sure, yeah, okay. So, just to kind of lay the groundwork, if you haven't been paying attention to this specific thing, which is fine because it's not really in our wheelhouse normally. So, Wall Street Bets, which is a subreddit of Reddit.com, which is, probably, just in my own opinion, one of the worst places in the world to go get financial advice from, is a bunch of strangers on the internet, right? But this is going on, and so people are talking about different stocks to invest in. Well, somebody there, and I don't know who it was, maybe it was a collective of people, started to realize that the stock market had, or at least some of the funds on the stock market had over-shorted some stocks. So that there were more short positions than there were actual stocks to cover them. And I don't want to get into the financial stuff, but I've been learning quite a bit. It's a bit somewhat interesting. When you short a stock, if the stock starts going up, your only recourse is to buy the stock on the way up to kind of hedge your short so that you don't end up getting burnt in a big way, which is all well and fine if there are stocks to buy. But the stock that they picked out, the very specific one, is GameStop, which is hilarious, right? And GameStop was overshorted. It was like 150%, meaning that there was 50% more shorts than there were actual stock issues to buy. So somebody noticed this and managed to collectively get everybody, I don't know if it's everybody, but so many people on the Wall Street Bets subreddit to go and buy this stock. Of course, when they start buying the stock, the price starts going up. Well, when the price starts going up, all of the funds start recognizing the price is going up and they all scramble to buy the stock to hedge their short position. Well, what happens when the entire world is going to go buy one singular stock? It goes through the freaking roof. It becomes the hottest property ever. And it's GameStop. It was shorted for a reason. It's because they're underperforming, right? So as a company, they're underperforming. Their stock is not returning the way that it needs to. And it's just phenomenal. All of a sudden, this stock went, I mean, it's thousands of percent. It's over 1,000% increase in a month from when this started. So this has been going on more than just the past 2 days, but it's really hit the news the past 2 days. And so it didn't matter which forum I was in today, people were talking about this. So it was in Network Collective. It was in some other places that I was chatting. It was at work. It was absolutely everywhere. And people are making serious money off of doing this. Now, in all fairness and warning, this stock will not stay there. There will be a bunch of people left holding the bag, right? Like, because fundamentals always work. The market will correct itself. So I am not at all advising, just to be super, super clear, I'm not advising you go buy stocks based off of Wall Street Bets. In fact, I'm saying the opposite. But it is really interesting to see what can happen. It's almost like a meme. Do you know what I'm saying? Like someone releases a meme and then it becomes super popular. Well, when the whole market is based off of people's opinion, and we've seen this happen in other ways too, like where it's kind of like through like the Me Too movement, which overall was a good thing, I think. But we would see like a meme could take somebody's down somebody's career. Now we're seeing a meme can literally influence the financial system. Like in this, like it's like everyone's all in, and it's. I don't know how responsible it is. The thing I really am is I'm concerned for the system. If a bunch of people on Reddit can make something happen like this, something's not right. And I think really the thing that's not right is the first thing I said, and that's that we're shorting stocks by 150%. That's probably the flaw in the system. But at the end of the day, it was just really interesting. And so I've seen lots of tweets. Like there were some tweets about like, hey, like, don't get wrapped up into this because the fundamentals always work, and I believe that's true. But the reality is that this all existed because of the fundamentals. Someone recognized this overshort position and took advantage of it. So it'll be interesting. There's other stocks that are overshorted that people are paying attention to now. I'm not going to name them because it's going to sound like I'm telling people what to buy. But it's just a really, really interesting internet phenomenon that happened today. I don't know what it means. I don't know what the ultimate consequences are. I made $20 on it today, so hey, I got it a little bit too. Yeah, $20. Yeah, it's not that much, right? But I figure it's gambling. Why not see what happens?
Yeah. So, I think also worth noting is. A little piece of news this week was the great outage of the Northeast. Do we want to talk about that?
Oh, we probably should, right? So
this is a networking show, right?
I guess. I mean, we're just talking about stocks and financials. I'm not quite sure who we are anymore. So this is a Verizon Fios network. And it was it yesterday or the day before, man? Like this week is just...
Yeah, it's been a crazy week. So
I think it was yesterday.
I think yesterday morning, Yeah.
Right. Yesterday morning, all of a sudden there's, big outage. And there was a bit of like cognitive dissonance in this because there's a massive outage, significant outage. And then we hear from Verizon what happened. And it's like a single fiber bundle got cut in Brooklyn. And it's like, hold on a second. I mean, there were some prominent people who were out there asking, how can a single fiber cut in Brooklyn? Did I win something? I hear a buzzer.
I was moving stuff on my desk and a bell went off.
I'm like, yes, I won something. Oh, no, it's disappointment.
Maybe we should have that like the, what is it? The secret word, the word of the day.
Oh,
and when you say the word, when you say the word in news, you ring the bell and then you get a prize.
Nice. So this single fiber bundle that got cut in Brooklyn managed to cause a major widespread outage on the East Coast for Verizon customers and services, and a lot of just a lot of stuff there. So I think that ultimately we've seen this before. Providers are not immune from unintended consequences. I think that we are living in an incredibly dynamic time when it comes to the way that internet is provided because of the fact of COVID and because, home usage has been driven way up. All the profiles have changed pretty dramatically. We've seen a lot of use as it relates to, like media consumption rise. And I know that a lot of the providers have just been struggling with, significant growth of the amount of traffic that they're having to handle on their networks. And so I imagine this is a combination of like, hey, we had a plan for this link, right? But this link was never that critical for us. And so we didn't think too much about it. This link now gets cut and all the traffic gets rerouted. And now we've overloaded the links that are adjacent to it because it never was a critical link. This was a home access link. This was whatever. And I'm putting words into people's mouths, but this is my assumption about what happened here. And then you end up with those cascading failures. We see them in power systems. We see them in networks. And unless you actually test it, you never know what's actually going to happen. And so now all of a sudden, like this one link goes out in Brooklyn and there's an East Coast outage that lasted for hours, right, as things tried to get resolved. And so I am really curious. I don't think that we're going to see a good postmortem on this. I just don't trust them to actually say, what actually happened and how it all cascaded. I'm sure they're going to figure it out because they're going to have to. But I think that we've kind of gotten used to some people like Cloudflare. When Cloudflare comes out with a postmortem, like we get all the details. Don't hold your breath for that from Verizon. I don't think we're ever going to know, but I ultimately, my assumption here is that we've seen a cascading failure inside of this provider network. And a lot of people are saying that Verizon should do better. And for what we pay for service, that's probably true. I say we as if I have service through Verizon.
I do. So let me tell you, yesterday morning, the internet started acting a little spotty. Websites weren't coming up. Occasionally one would get through. I got tons of tabs open like everybody else. And I wasn't really sure what was going on. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, I'm going to take a PCAP right now because I always wanted to capture failures to be able to study them, right? We all know what regular network traffic looks like. I want to see what the failures look like. And I really didn't see anything. I really didn't see anything that was noticeable.
Traffic in one direction.
And and then my phone actually went off and it was the local school system saying there's a network outage. Our technicians are doing everything they can, but the problem is outside of our county. And that's when I went in the Network Collective Slack and immediately pinged Kevin Myers, who I know is in chat tonight.
Oh, Kevin Myers has the answer. I'm just going to throw it up here. He says it was all just one VLAN. That's what's going on.
But yeah, I pinged Kevin Myers. I said, what have you done? Because he's been attributed to an outage or two. And and
it's internet. It's always Kevin's fault, just to be clear. And it turns out, at that point it was all over Twitter and everything. So, I just think that's kind of funny. Like I get notified about it by my school system, and then where I get the juicy details, you go to the Network Collective Slack. That's where people are able to see service providers, anyone who's plugged into the service provider space. It is really funny how that's developed into that, because I do the same thing, because we have so many arms and fingers into so many different networks that if you really want to know what's going on, at least in North America, it's a pretty good place to start, because there's somebody somewhere that either is part of that provider, works for that provider, is closely related to them, or is running a service where they're watching that provider closely and know what's going on. There was a fiber cut the other day where we had two members both share the same picture. And they were laughing about it because they had both gotten the same outage report. They both had gotten dinged by the same backhoe that had dug up the same piece of fiber, just because, there was just that connection there. But you're right. I do the same thing. Whenever something isn't working, the first place I go isn't to the internet. I go to the Slack and I start looking around, see who's talking about it.
Yeah, for real. It's the best resource. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It absolutely is the best. Yeah.
Oh, somebody's calling me. I'm not going to pick that up, I don't think. So anything else news wise going on this week? I'm trying to think. It's been
no,
major
I think that's
outage,
enough.
Major outage, financial markets in disarray,
and everyone's getting hacked.
Everyone's getting hacked. I mean, it's all cheery news, man.
There was, whenever we talk about like the dynamic of news, it's always sort of regional. And I always have this one memory from childhood. This is not networking related, but in my area, we're suburban, I guess, we're about 20 minutes away from two major cities. And, so the evening news is a combination of like, crime and what the school systems are doing and this and that, and especially nowadays it's all sensationalized. When I was a kid, it wasn't as much, but that's what you heard of. And I remember taking a family vacation up to like northern Vermont to like go skiing. And like the local news was talking about like how Farmer Joe down the street had a new calf born on his farm. Like the relevance of news was like way different, depending on where you are in the country. And, and I assume it's that way, obviously, around the world. This is the internet. So, maybe not everyone is sharing our experience, but it's been one hell of a week for news. And 2021 is just rocking and rolling, man.
Well, I mean, that's true. I mean, I remember, like, everyone was so excited for 2020 to be over. Like, there was some magical thing that's going to happen as we roll over, the calendar into 2021. It hasn't slowed down, has it? It's all, no. It seems to still keep rolling. Still keep rolling. So, yeah, so that's that. Let's see. So what else is going on? We got some fun stuff.
I was going to say, I want to talk about something new with the show. I got a new toy right in front of me that Jordan sort of built me a little console. We talk about a toy.
Yeah, that's a toy.
So
sure.
if you guys have been watching the show for, since we started back in December, I guess we started actually in November. I've always said, I went and found my Butler bell. For sound effects, because I always said, Jordan, we need sound effects. So he built me a soundboard, and we got some cool sound effects in here. I want to play a couple of them for you guys. So if anyone's in the chat, I'm going to demo the soundboard. So if anyone's in chat, let me know what sound effects I need to add to this board. Okay, I want to know what I'm missing. So we got your staple crowd applause. All right. Everyone hear that? That's a good one. We got the noise that is always played after I tell a joke.
Yep, need that one.
A 6500 with dying fans. Thank you, Kevin. And then always after a solid fail.
Sounds about right.
The sad trombone. I love the sad trombone. And of course, when you get an attaboy, a nice pat on the back from your Irish uncle.
Done.
Well done.
Oh yeah. The silence of when a switch won't reboot. That is the sound of nightmares.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you encapsulate that.
Did it come back up? Do you guys hear anything?
So the problem with that sound effect is approximately 5 to 7 minutes long, because it starts with the reboot, right? As you're sitting at your laptop and you run the continuous ping to see when it comes back up, and then the real sound of that nightmare is at like the 5 or 6 minute mark, when all of a sudden the keystrokes start getting heavier as you're trying to figure out what the heck just happened and why this thing's not coming up, because it is guaranteed that it will take approximately 60 to 120 seconds longer than you think for that switch to fully reboot, or at least to start returning ICMP back to you. You know what? Most of the time, you know how you walk over to the computer and it's just an entire screen, right, of dots, right? You haven't got an exclamation point yet. It's just a dot. What you do is you go over and you're like, it must be broken. So you Control C. Scroll up, or you got to start over.
You do a Control C to stop the operation, then up arrow, and then enter again. Nope. It was broken. I thought that would fix it, but nope, it's broken.
So we have not sure about the Irish one. Oh, what? Why?
Oh, okay.
I want to know
what about
why.
The Irish one?
Yeah, what is it about that one?
That's a good one. Well done.
Well done.
So I want to hear what the reason is. So
live streaming engineers upgrading production networks with heart rate monitors on.
Well, that could be fun. Yeah. So I don't know if you've ever watched Engineering Deathmatch. Have you ever seen that show?
No, Tony? I haven't. No, I haven't.
So Engineering Deathmatch, it basically pits two engineers against each other in a scenario where they have to like either troubleshoot something or build something. I've seen it, live at Cisco Live and different conferences where this happens. And it's not just networking. I've seen it in like unified communications and some other verticals as well. But it's like a combination of that Engineering Deathmatch with two engineers head to head, but then you have heart rate monitors on as you're encountering things. That's funny.
And the whole thing is, right, you can't go over a certain beats per minute. you got to maintain.
You get shocked.
You got to maintain
you're taking
calm.
us into weird places. You get penalized if your heart rate goes up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That was something that I've heard about it, but I never saw it. And I don't know the details of that, of the Engineering Deathmatch.
I think it's who runs that. So if you haven't checked it out, you should. It's kind of fun. I haven't been brave enough to go on it yet. So, but I have watched it. I have watched it done, and it's interesting. Okay. So about the Irish one, he thinks that we should say it.
Well done.
All right, Tony, you have to start practicing because you have to get the inflection perfect.
Well done.
And then we have to figure out how I press a button, and that makes you say it.
Like Pavlov's dog.
That's right.
Well done.
All right. So joining us any minute now is going to be, in fact, look at that timing. He's logging in right now. So I'm going to bring him in quick because I think he's ready. So Mike, man, how you doing? This is the worst idea ever, adding sound effects to the show.
Hey, Mike, did you hear that crowd? Man, they're excited to see you.
Oh, Mike, I have you muted.
He's
That's on me, buddy. That's on me, buddy. That's not you. Sorry about that. Yeah, there's the trombone. I deserve that one.
It's all good. Good to see you guys.
Likewise.
Hey, Mike.
So Mike, Mike is a very gracious friend. So we had asked Mike to come on and share some of his war stories, which is great. And we're going to do that. But before that, we wanted to try something new here for the live stream. And this new thing that we wanted to do is we want to, how would you describe it, Tony? We're bringing in, it's almost a trivia competition. What is it? What would you call it?
Yeah, it's a trivia competition, right? We're gonna do it. What's the right word? Maybe we should have rehearsed this part. It's a trivia competition. What else is there to say?
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
It's gonna be a random. Hopefully it's gonna be a mostly IT focused trivia with some salt and pepper mixed in. Some onesie twosies so you don't expect everything.
Right.
And
So I will say I've created this here trivia competition, and it is some networking, and it is some geek culture, and it is some just randomness. And so I've got a few questions because this one doesn't count. Let's just be fair, because this is our trial run. We want to know that this actually will work. And so Mike is playing the role of guinea pig because I created the questions. It's not really fair for me to compete against Tony when I know the questions and know all the answers. But I have a good feeling that everyone knows the answers for themselves. So Tony, I see Mike is in the system. You're not, and I sent you the link in the Slack.
Slack. All right.
In Slack. So as soon as you're in, I'll get us started.
Okay. All right. Let me do that. And are you going to put it up on the?
Yep.
Is it just going to be our talking heads, or are you going to put it up?
No, we're going to put it up. Everyone will be able to see your success or failure.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess to give it a little background, this is going to be sort of a live competition trivia that we're going to do. Right. And we're talking about some prizes and maybe some end of the month head-to-head challenge, live challenge.
Yeah, so I mean, just to share the
screen.
Just to share the thought, just so that everyone understands what we're talking about doing. This is going to be open to everybody who's joining us live. So if you're here listening right now, and assume that this will happen next week or the next week after, we'll get this worked out. But the idea is we're going to give you a code. You're going to go play yourself. And whoever comes out on top, it's going to be a short little challenge. It's going to be everyone who wants to play can play. And the two best that come out of that are going to come out and go head to head. We're going to get you on the show. We're going to send you a link. We're going to have you come on, and then you're going to take the real competition. Now, if you win that week, there will be a prize. It's a nice prize. It's not a big prize. But then at the end of the month, we're going to bring back all the winners. If you want to, and compete for an even better prize at the end of the month. And so the idea is this will be a fun way for us to enjoy our time together here and get some interaction beyond just us talking at you and you chatting on a screen. We want to get you all on the show. We want to have some fun. So it looks like everyone's ready. So I'm gonna kick this off here.
Yeah, I have a very small window. I got it like in the quarter of my screen. So I hope it adjusts properly. Let's rock and roll.
All right, let's do it. So I'm gonna kick it off here.
Get ready.
Here we go.
All right.
This is our trial quiz. Right. So here we go. Let's count down. 3, 2, 1. Let's do it.
Question 1. Where is it? Oh, finish this quote. Hello, my name is. Got it.
Did you?
Okay.
Okay, so we got 2 right answers. Hey, look at that.
All right. Woo!
I told you I wasn't going to be any good at this, and yeah.
There you go. All right. That was a good start. I will say I seeded the beginning with some just like cultural reference things. We'll get to networking. We'll get there.
And Jordan, are you going to be manning the soundboard?
I can absolutely man the soundboard while we're doing this. All right, look at that. That was really
maybe
close.
I can do it. I can flip back and forth.
There you go.
Who's good? Oh, I got it. Okay.
You got it.
All right, I'm on top. Andres, you're in there.
All right, so here we go. You guys ready for the next question?
How did Andres get in?
Yeah, go for it.
Because I showed the thing up on the screen. So we're competing 3 ways now.
All right, right on.
So here we go.
Okay.
Next question.
All right.
Oh, no, this is not going to be good.
I got a complete guess. Oh. Complete guess. Let's see.
We got 3 people playing. What? I love it. And nobody got the right answer. The right answer is 9. Oh. All right. Wow. Here we go. Let's go for the next one. Now we got 4 people in. People keep joining. Hackers everywhere.
Oh, because it has the game pin on the bottom of the screen. Anyone can join.
Oh, I'm gonna find a way to filter that out. That's awesome. There you go.
What is the name of the small sword given to Arya Stark by Jon Snow? Oh, I'm on the wrong board. This one. I was on the soundboard.
Yeah, you can't watch the videos because it's gonna lag. You're going to watch your own screen, man.
No, on my screen it doesn't have the question.
All right,
it just has the buttons.
3 correct answers on that one. Awesome.
Well done.
Well done. Oh, Mike taking the lead.
Well,
look at that.
We were friends.
I think it's speed based too, right? Like,
yeah, it's how fast you answer. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely.
Mike, are you watching the video or are you watching your screen?
So I'm watching I guess it's the session that we're in. That's what I'm watching to see it pop up, and then when I get my screen, it's nothing but like the blocks.
Yeah. Jordan, for us, for the players, we don't see the question. We only see the 4 colored blocks to choose. So I can't read a question on my screen. I have to see the feed.
Oh, okay. It's good to know. That's good to know.
We're figuring this out. We're figuring it out.
This is why we have the test one, which was supposed to be just us that everyone bombarded in anyway.
Did Kevin Myers just join the game as BC Jordo?
It's completely possible because that's too great. Oh, that's hilarious.
All right. Let's go for the next one.
All right. Here we go.
How many? Come on, baby. Where is it? Boom!
Oh, look at that. Tony's confident. And it's like his favorite device I put up there. He should be very happy. Hold on. Now, I'm assuming, and I'm hoping this is not true, that not only did Kevin attach as me, which I'm assuming it's him, but I don't know. It could be somebody else. Now he's going to answer the questions wrong. Is that what that is? See? Oh, somebody's now Hacker Man. Somebody changed their name. Maybe that's awesome. Kevin, because he said hackers everywhere. All right. Everyone ready? Here we go. Do the next one.
Come on, baby. Oh, okay, I got it.
A little tricky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? Actually, I got this one wrong. I think I got this one wrong.
You missed the 0.
No. Wait, let me see. Let's see. Oh, it says incorrect.
Yeah, 255. Yeah, so it's 256 total numbers, but 0 is the first number. So what is the largest decimal number?
Yeah, okay. I answered as what are the total amount of numbers that can be configured with 8 bits. And then after I answered, I understood what the question was asking, which is the highest decimal number.
I did the same thing too, Tony. Same exact thing.
All right, little bit of tricky. All right, so here we go. Let's see, no movement at the top. All right. If you know me, you know the answer.
Nipples. It is nipples.
Two people got it wrong. Two people got it wrong. I'm so disappointed.
Let me tell you a funny story about that. I used to teach a networking class, and we didn't teach MPLS. It was a different focus, but I used to whiteboard sort of a simplified MPLS core, right? And I would always call it Mipples just to get the students' attention, just to make sure that they were paying attention. It works every time. Everyone cracks up laughing. Now they're focused. Now they're ready to learn, But yeah, you pull out something like that, works every time. Nipples.
All right. So that was question 6 of 9. We've got 3 more to go. And the competition it's really close. There's 30 points.
Actually, damn, Mike.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I thought I was winning. All right.
I took a stab at the nipples thing. I didn't even know Jordan likes to call it that.
You have to call it that. You have to.
I was going with EIGRP, right? How do you guys pronounce that?
Oh, so I am a stickler about this. You only say the acronym. Yeah, you only say the acronym if it's an acronym. So there's two, like most people miss this. There's initialisms and there's acronyms. And a lot of people love to take initialisms and try to make them acronyms, and that doesn't work for me. So example, VRF doesn't work for me. It's VRF. It's an initialism. You say each letter. And an acronym, the definition is that the letters were arranged in such a way to create a word for you to say it. Right? And so I'm saying nipples is that way. It's definitely not, right? Like it's definitely just meant to be an initialism. I'm trying to think about one that's actually true. NAT. So NAT is a true acronym because it forms a word by the letters that it chooses. If you have to fill in letters, I am not an eGRIP. No, it's EIGRP, mainly because the I is in the wrong place. But that's a whole other thing. All right, enough of the soapbox. All right, here we go for the next one.
Got it. That took longer than it should have. Big time.
So Kevin says it is not nipples. I will die on this hill. All right. Moving on. What happened at the top? Oh, Mike's still in the lead. Took a even a little bit bigger of a gap there.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I think I stuttered a little bit.
Yeah, it took you a second. That's all right. It's all right. We got 2 more to go. Plenty of time. All right.
You're too slow, Mike. You're too slow. I heard the click. I can hear it. You're too slow. First place is mine.
All right.
Let's see. Did I get first, though?
I'm
climbing the ladder?
I'm going to make you wait for just a second. Just a second.
Are you controlling the timing on the display?
Between this, absolutely.
What?
See what happens? Uh-oh. Mike's on fire. You see that icon next to him?
Man.
Mike is on fire.
What?
It's like NBA Jam rules, man.
All right.
Wow. How did that even happen?
He's on fire, apparently. I mean, Kahoot says so. No arguing with Kahoot here. And this last one is particularly relevant to today. I'll just give you a heads up. All right.
You made me click on it, man. I don't want any of those.
And of course, everyone universally gets this one correct. So let's see the timing.
No whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Oh,
we got a podium.
Oh, burn.
Number 3 is Hackerman. I'm not sure who Hackerman is. Oh, Tony, number 2.
Wow.
And look at that.
Only by about 40 points or something. Congratulations, Mike. Thank you. Thank goodness.
And this one's for Tony.
Yeah. No, that was fun. No, that was cool. Yeah.
All right. So
we got to get them teamed up. So I was going to say, let me say, if anyone has any trivia questions they would like to donate to the pool of questions,
we have to find a way to submit them so that not everyone sees them. So not everyone sees the answers.
They can DM them.
Yes.
Or send them via email, jordan@networkcollective.com or tony@networkcollective.com. I suggest you send the questions to Jordan and send the answers to me.
We're not competing in this. It can go to either one of us. It's fine.
I'm going to play.
Tony's like, I'm playing. What are you talking about? I'm competing in all of this.
Right.
Awesome.
Oh, those are good questions.
Yeah, that was fun.
Those are good questions. That rocks.
Thank you. I spent a little bit of time on that today. So we will continue this. So for those who are watching, come prepared next time. We want everyone to play. And what I'm going to do between this week and next week is find a way to hide this stupid ID so not everybody can join the game at random and try to compete in and amongst it. That's awesome. No, guys, that was a lot of fun. And it was actually fun that people joined in and just did it anyway. So I think it's time. Let's transition to why we really brought Mike on. So Mike, it is awesome that you came on and you are willing to share some of your stories from your career. I know you've worked in some unique environments, and I'm sure that you have some fun tales from the trenches. We always find value in these because I think it's always better to learn from somebody else. I mean, I've learned plenty of lessons where I was the one who received the pain or had to go through the hard work or ended up in the not nice place to be. But I think hearing what other people have experienced helps shape the way we think about the way we do our jobs. And so, Mike, what I'm going to do is I'm going to step away. I'm going to put the focus on you, and I'm just going to let you go, man. And then we'll chime in when it makes sense, and then we'll catch you on the other side. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Cool. So kind of kicking this off, the story's probably, it's coming up on 5 years now. Probably 4.5 years since it happened. And I may sound a little bit like an old man here because I have to tee it up properly. If I just cut to the chase, it's going to be a little like, oh, okay, that was pretty obvious. So anyways, about 4 years ago, my friends and I were working on a pretty significant change to our wide area network. We were bringing up new co-location centers. We were doing North America and Europe. And we were trying to work through the WAN design. What we ultimately wanted to do was make it to where our remote offices were geographically proximate to whatever regional co-location that they're going to connect to, and they're going to transit security stack in between. So path symmetry is pretty important. What happens if this circuit goes down? How do we fail over to the other geographic location? How do we make sure they get back to the data center? And so a lot of this is playing in the back of our heads. It's going to be a complete transformation of the network that we're working on. And one of the challenges that we faced was just kind of all the technical debt that went along with the previous WAN infrastructure. We still had frame relay on the network. We still had EasyVPN on the network. We had an iteration of DMVPN on the network, and we had literally thousands of sites. We had several data centers, and in these data centers, they kind of functioned in a very interesting way. I mean, we had WAN aggregation devices where all these remote offices were terminating onto and advertising their networks into those devices. And then they would funnel up to a core layer in those locations. And what ended up happening was there was a very large summary route, a /9, that covered literally the entire WAN space. That's what got advertised in the core. That's what ultimately made it to the data center, whatever application those remote users were accessing. So if they were accessing something in one location, just due to the nature of the way that the routing was set up, it would just go to its closest WAN aggregation point. And then if it needed to get back to a location that it didn't happen to know about, there was a whole bunch of GRE tunnels stitching these aggregation routers together. And these devices, they ran every single routing protocol known to man, except a couple, but EIGRP was there, OSPF was there, BGP was there, multiple points of redistribution, a lot of opportunity for bad things to happen. These devices were pretty much only a handful of people would touch on them. Like, they were very much, they could make or break your career. You could literally be fired for messing this thing up. So it was just one of those things. So we had all this in the back of our head. We're bringing up new WAN locations are geographically separate. How do we get this location back to these data centers? How do we get those routes as they swing over to the new co-locations, how do we get them behind this giant summary, and how do we make sure we maintain path symmetry? How do we make sure that we stay within the bounds of the routing that's set up on the core infrastructure? And so we whiteboarded this every single day for weeks on weeks. There was 4 of us, and it points throughout the whole thing. We're just like, we're all getting fired. Like, we're done here. This is it. But we worked through it. We figured it out. We did our community scheme. We worked through how we're going to ultimately stitch this together, which that one stitching thing was to do a layer 2 extension from the co-location to each of those data center locations, and then stitch it through the core network so they seem, from a routing perspective, adjacent, sitting behind those aggregation devices that had all the route summarization that went along with it. So we're super amped, we're super prepared. We've got 3 changes we have to do. We have to hit each one of those data centers, pull it together, turn up BGP, make sure everything's going to work like it's supposed to. So we get through the first 2 changes. The first 2 changes, we do it without a hitch. We go into the core, we turn up the VLAN that we decided to use for that point-to-point link, and then we tag that VLAN down to the distribution, the aggregation switch, brought up the layer 3 adjacency from the co-location to the aggregation, brought up the BGP peer, and everything looked really good at this point. So we get to the final location, the final data center, and it actually happened here in this room where I'm talking to you and talking to everyone at. And we go to do it, and we turn up this new VLAN on the core. And part of the change was to spin up a trunk that had not existed before between the core and the aggregation switch. And so we turned up the trunk first, and then we configured the VLAN on the core. And some of you may have an idea of what's about to happen here. So a little bit into the change, we get in there and something just doesn't feel right. Like you feel something, like you don't know what it is. You can't quite put your finger on it, but you know something's not right. And my lead engineer was on the call, and he's like, Mike, we just lost 5,000 tunnels. And I was like, what are you talking about? We lost 5,000 tunnels. That's how many remote sites we had at the time. And these remote sites, half are going here and half are going here. So it's not catastrophic at this point. We just kind of lost half of our tunnels in the process. So we get to looking at it, and we're like, these VLANs, they don't look right. This isn't what's supposed to be on this distribution switch. Like, what happened here? And things start clicking in the back of your head, and all of a sudden you just feel bile rise into the back of your throat, and all of us are just kind of like, just having that moment on the call, like, all right, we know what happened. Let's take a quick look here. What's the damage? Okay, VTP just happened. We just propagated all the core VLANs down to the distribution. What did we wipe out in the process? And all of us are just like in damage control mode. And to everyone's credit on the call, we picked ourselves up. We dusted ourselves off. We got those VLANs back on there. We fixed the SVIs. We made sure things started coming back up. But it's that 15 minutes where you're just freaking out. And it's this very small detail almost everyone's been bitten by, you don't think about, because you're focused on a much bigger aspect of the change. But, this attention to detail, if you miss that little thing, something in the back of my head should have said, hey, Mike, you're turning up a trunk, you're messing with VLANs. Whoever invented VTP hates network engineers, just plain and simple. Just be aware. It's bitten you once before several years ago. You should just keep this in the back of your head. So we got through that. And the only real consequence, we managed to fix it, get everything back up and running, but we had a ticket generating system. Like, as soon as those tunnels dropped, it generated 5,000 tickets. And we had the automation to generate the tickets. We didn't have the automation to close it. So every single one of those tickets had to be closed by hand by the operations center. So you can imagine, the fallout from that. And then, of course, the next day I get on the change board and I happen to tell the director of operations that VTP is a landmine, and I freak out the business a little bit, and people start throwing markers at me. And then my buddy's like, yeah, we got VTP everywhere. And it was just a complete expletive show. And, all said and done, we got through it. Everything's working perfectly as far as I know. Those VLANs, I think, pretty much that propagated from the core to the distribution switch are probably still on there. Nobody wants to touch it and clean it up, but hey, no harm, or no foul, no harm. So that's my story. I think I'll leave us kind of 5 minutes to go from there.
Nice. So I'm curious for those that are watching who are network engineers, which I'm assuming you are if you're watching. I want to know if you have or have not been bitten by VTP. Because I will say, Tony has said that he has. I have as well. I managed to take out all the VLANs on a core by bringing by bringing an old switch from another place on that just happened to have the same VTP domain and whatever higher revision number, obviously. So I'm curious if you have or have not, in the chat, say whether you've been bitten by VTP, because I'm kind of curious what the overall poll is. In the meantime, I like this comment from Kevin, and maybe something that you should look into for skilling up here, Mike. Is I pride myself on the ability to dodge objects thrown at me when calling someone's network ugly.
Man. So no, it was funny. Like the guy who did that, I got all the respect in the world for him, but he's just like, shut up, Mike. Just quit telling people VTP is a landmine. Quit freaking out the business. We'll deal with it.
So I want to reply to Kevin's comment here. Yes, it's good to be able to dodge objects. The real art, though, is being able to tell someone their network's ugly without them realizing you're telling them their network's ugly. And so that's like peak consultant, is when you can walk into somebody's network, look at it, go, oh my God, what did I get myself into? And then be able to frame your response to them in such a way that doesn't dismiss all of the work they've put into making that ugly baby, and move on from there. Now in VTP, right? So VTP also version matters, because I think most of us, when we say we've been burned by VTP, have been burned by VTP v2.
Yes. Yep.
So V3 put some of those protections in. I think that it came so late in the process that all of us people that have gray hair looked at it and said, no, no, thank you. Sure. Yeah. I see the protections you put in. Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. No, I'm still not putting VTP in my network. Right.
You've got network automation at this point, right? Like you could just easily turn something out that puts the VLANs on the things for you. And then more than likely, you're not going to want to use, dynamic trunking protocol or whatever that was for like doing the automatic pruning. Yeah. Almost everybody manually prunes it. They figure out exactly what they want explicitly, because why would you just let things happen on your network?
Man, Kevin is on fire tonight. VTP v3 is the Betamax of networking. It is so true. The better but too late to the market protocol. Man, Kevin, you're on, man. That's 100% accurate. That's awesome.
I like how
high def DVD, HD DVD rather than Blu-ray. Yeah, same thing.
I like the spirit of how they did it, where they thought, we'll just make this an automagical networking capability for you, right? So what really burnt me in that process was the core had its VTP domain set server, right? This guy had never paired with anything via an L2 connection, like a trunk. So it was an unset domain name. It was just in VTP server mode, lowest revision, and off you go.
Nice, man. Yeah, my VTP experience was both luckily and unluckily very early in my career. And so when I had VTP burn me, I didn't know what had happened. Do you know what I'm saying? It was one of those things that you feel at least for you, you recognize, oh my word, light bulb goes on and I know what I have to do to fix it. I went all of a sudden, all the network is down and I'm looking at my core switch and I'm like, where are my VLANs? Where did that go? And didn't really know much about VTP at the time. Should not have been doing the work I was doing. But yeah, it was one of those things. So I knowing now, probably a bit faster to repair than what it was at that time. Well, Mike, man, thanks so much for coming on and sharing your story.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
And
Thanks
also thanks for being willing to be the guinea pig for our new little adventure. It seemed like everybody had fun, so I appreciate you taking the risk.
Yeah, anytime, guys.
All right, man. Well, we'll let you go, and we'll see you soon.
Cool. Take care.
All right. That was I hear VTP and I just go, oh, like that's just anytime I hear it. Now you can use it and you can use it safely, but you shouldn't. Like, really is what it comes down to. All right. So Tony, it's my understanding that you have another demo for us. Maybe not a full-fledged demo because we had grand plans and not enough time to really deliver on them. But I want to start here though. I want to lay the foundation just a little bit. I'm going to get some people excited because I'm going to say a word right now, and the word is ZeroTier. Now, there is something about Network Collective, and being the person who founded it, this baffles me. I don't understand the obsession, but there is an obsession with ZeroTier in our Slack. It is the solution of all solutions. It is the solver of all problems. It is the thing that you can apply to anything, and it is the correct answer. And I am impressed with ZeroTier as a solution, and it is definitely impressive without a doubt. So we figured that since ZeroTier gets so much stinking airtime in the Network Collective Slack, that maybe it would be a good idea to look at some use cases over several shows, right? So the idea is we're not going to do it all right now. I think right now what we're going to talk about is some of the fundamentals. Is that correct, Tony? Just some of the fundamental components and how it works?
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to give just one short and sweet demo on one simple use case on how I use ZeroTier, and I want to save a deep dive in fundamentals for another show.
Okay, so
sorry to throw a curveball at you mid-show, but yeah, I want to do a deep dive on fundamentals on another show. But I want to show just a quick tip and trick on a very simple use case that I'm loving, and then I also want to tease something to come after that.
All right, well that sounds great. Tony, are you connected in? Is your desktop logged in?
I'm probably not, I got
it doesn't look that way. So we probably should do that.
Yeah, I'll do it.
So, and in typical fashion, Laz is in and says, all praise our overlord ZeroTier. Like this is literally the conversation as it happens in the Network Collective Slack. And Kevin Myers is calling ZeroTier. They're not even traded in stocks, but it's going to the moon apparently. So we're all good there.
Yeah. ZeroTier is absolutely fantastic. It is so dirt simple to spin up reachability between two machines that don't have natural routing between them. It's the simplest solution I can find, and I love it. So I want to demonstrate one of my use cases, which is, on the heels of completing my CCIE, I lived and breathed networking labs for a very long time. Yeah. I spun up EVE-NG, a couple of them at home. I spun up EVE-NG in the cloud. Many people can go on my YouTube channel and see my demonstration of EVE-NG in the cloud. So what I'm going to show you is how I'm able to stay connected to my EVE-NG server, whether it's at home or whether it's my cloud instance, anywhere that I am in the world at all times, without having to spin up a VPN and touch OpenSSL. Now, I say without having to spin up a VPN, we are spinning up a VPN, but we're not routing subnets between them. This is a full mesh of layer 2 endpoints is what ZeroTier specializes in. So I'm going to demonstrate how to make that work on this, and I'm going to try and do it live. So I have an EVE-NG instance in the cloud. This is on Google Cloud. Everyone can get to it right now. Maybe, I guess, I hope. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to log into ZeroTier. I'm going to create a new network. I'm going to connect my computer to that network. And then I'm going to get on the command line on this EVE-NG instance, and I'm going to connect that to it. And it's all going to take place in less than 5 minutes. And then I'm going to be able to connect through my tunnel anywhere that my computer is. In fact, I don't have to turn on the VPN or turn it off. And when I say VPN, I mean ZeroTier. I don't have to turn it on and turn it off. It'll just always be on. And anywhere I am, I'll always be connected to my lab as long as that endpoint is up. This is absolutely brilliant and makes simplifying your ingress and egress firewall rules, because you only need to allow, at the simplest, some outbound UDP traffic. There is some efficiencies where if you want to allow inbound UDP, it allows you to go direct peer-to-peer. So there are some efficiencies, but it's in simplest form, outbound only, and this just works. So I'm got ZeroTier open here. I'm going to go ahead and log in. I need to provide my credentials, so I'll open up my password manager. I hope that I can do this in the time that I said, less than 5 minutes.
You're going to share those credentials later, right, Tony?
Yes.
So we can go in and play with the ZeroTier network as well.
Yeah. So let's see. I got this one. So let me see what I'm doing here. Copy paste, and also, of course, I'm trying to manage too many windows, and maybe could have done this a little quicker. Okay, log in. So as soon as you're logged in, this is a brand new account. I just started with ZeroTier. I have an existing account, but I started this one brand new. It tells you to create an account, and it's dancing right there. Create a network, rather. And it automatically creates one for you. Its name is Pensive Metcalf, so you can name it whatever you want. It gives you some IP space to work with and gives you your ID, your network ID to join. So that's super cool. The next thing we want to do is I want to download the client. I already have the client on my workstation. So what you guys won't see is me installing the client. Instead, I'm just going to join the network. So I have the network ID here, and I should be able to put it in my ZeroTier client in the system tray, join network, paste that in.
You can show that on your desktop, join. Tony? We're not seeing that on the screen. We're not.
No, I can't, because it's on a different window. But what you will see is I've now joined this network. And where am I at? Where am I? Manage routes. Where's my guys? Oh, one device has joined this network. Okay, so I have to authorize him. So I'll go ahead and click that. And this is my workstation. So my workstation just joined. So now what I'm going to do is head over to the download link. I'm going to do Linux. And if I just want to do this absolutely quick and dirty, we can just do this. Copy and paste this. And I want to launch the shell to my VM, which just takes a second. You know, I'm always kind of a little bit ashamed at how slow Google Cloud is, the management interface here. Like Google has all the compute power in the world, but it takes forever just to SSH it to a VM. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, I think they reserve the compute power for the actual compute resources. Management doesn't necessarily get priority.
All right, I'm just going to make myself root to make this simple. I'm going to go ahead and paste in that link provided from the ZeroTier download page. It's going to download everything that it needs. It's going to add a new source, and we can manage this node from, this software using the app software from now on. So success. Now I have a ZeroTier address, so that's working. So the next thing I want to do is I want to join my network. My network is here, my ID rather, and my shell is ZeroTier, CLI, join, paste, enter. Join OK. So now back on my management console over on ZeroTier's website, I should have another message that another node has tried to join. One device has joined this network. I have to authorize it onto the network. Let me see, authorize, unauthorize, and also online. Where's my guys? Oh, maybe it's not there yet. Oh, here we are. This one right here, this has the Google Cloud IP space. So once I authorize that, it's going to give it an IP address so that these two endpoints, my workstation right here, or rather my laptop, and the Google Cloud EVE-NG node are now on the same subnet, right? So that's why this is sort of different than your typical like OpenSSL VPN or IPsec tunnel, right? We're not routing subnets through it. A ZeroTier certainly has the capability to do that, but in this simplest form, we're on the same subnet. So as long as you have the software, the client software installed on any number of nodes, they should all be able to reach each other, whether on the local LAN, they should be able to go through directly to each other, or across the internet. So this is absolutely perfect. So what I'll do is I have the IP address now of my EVE-NG node as it is on the ZeroTier network. So if I open up a new tab and do HTTP and paste that address in, I should be able to pull up the EVE-NG login page. So now I'm going through the tunnel. So what I can actually do right now is go into Google Cloud and close all my firewall rules, all my ingress rules that I had to allow for native console, right? You have to allow in SSH, you have to allow in HTTP, you have to allow in raw TCP ports. The EVE-NG cookbook wants you to allow all the TCP and UDP ports through, but everyone can't do that or shouldn't do that. They should feel bad when they do that in their hearts. So the best way is just to be able to reach it no matter what over ZeroTier. And then you can power off your VM. And when you power it back on, ZeroTier will start up, join the network again, and you'll be able to connect to it directly, safely, and securely. This is absolutely the best way to do this, I have found. And as you can see, it was less than 5 minutes to do that. And I'm back up, and here's my lab. So now I'm connected through the tunnel. Now I could take this workstation and go to the coffee shop. I could go to Jordan's house. I could go to work. And all I have to do is browse to this URL, and I will always hit that box as long as it's online. So that's my ZeroTier tips and tricks. Use case number 1 is being able to stay always connected to your lab.
Nicely done.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love ZeroTier. As you can see, I just stood up a VPN from my endpoint to a Google Cloud VM, and I didn't even have to touch OpenSSL, which I absolutely hate. It's the bane of my existence. And I only had to run one command in the CLI. Can you beat that? Like, seriously. Like, I know a lot of people love pfSense, when it comes to like standing up your own VPN for remote access or whatever. But it's like 42 clicks to stand up a VPN in pfSense. I just did it with one install on my local machine and one CLI in a Linux VM. You can't beat that.
No, that was pretty fast, right? Like start to finish, that was pretty close. Like,
it's encrypted, point to point, single subnet. All nodes are reachable. There's not a simpler solution, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I'm absolutely a ZeroTier fanboy. And what you will find is if you start playing around with ZeroTier, you'll start thinking like, wait a minute, you'll be at work and someone will say, I'm having trouble getting this VM to talk to this VM. And you're like, what if we just put ZeroTier on both of them? Then they can talk. Then they'll just find their way. I hate to say that it's magic, but it's a tunneling mechanism. But there is a little bit of magic under the hood, and it's super, super cool. Absolutely, I love it.
So
I see Kevin Myers got some commentary in the chat.
We'll get there.
Laz.
Laz is first. So Laz, I think, just volunteered for the next use case. I think he's going to show us how he can team up his 486. Apparently, there's still one of those floating around and working, and run IPX, SPX, because it's just L2, right? Like, it doesn't care what the L3, L4 protocol is over the top. So sure, IPX, SPX over the top for Doom. So Laz, you're going to be ready for that next week, right?
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Thanks, Laz.
So if you want to get on the network collective Doom IPX network on ZeroTier, you got to join the Slack.
we've threatened to have a Minecraft server before. I've seen that one floating around with ZeroTier. Now this one is good from Kevin as well. Says I was on a high-speed train in the Czech Republic and used ZeroTier to hit one of my VMs on DigitalOcean in Amsterdam instead of hairpinning back to Denver in the U.S. Denver being where he would have had to have VPN to get back to his resources internally. So that's, I mean, I think that's really the use case is the super flexibility, right? Like, because it's not about like you have one hard position for one side of the connection. Both sides can be mobile. One side can be mobile. Mm-hmm. It's just going to find the whatever the best lowest latency path to wherever the public egress is for those services is what's there. It is super handy. I mean, we use it, right? Like we use ZeroTier for what we do here for this live stream. We're using it right now. We're
using ZeroTier right now to support this live stream. It's how I connect to Jordan's house to run the soundboard.
Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, there are so many use cases for this, and we're really just tip of the iceberg with this. And that's why I hope to do maybe our next show, a much deeper dive into how ZeroTier is actually functioning under the hood. And I hope more people can come forward and introduce even more use cases, because this is used all over the place. And it's absolutely tons of fun. I mean, I love networking. I love standing up VPNs. I don't know why, but tunneling is like the perfect Swiss Army knife for networking. And like, this is the easy button for a Swiss Army knife, for a networking Swiss Army knife. One of the things about ZeroTier that makes it so brilliant is just like the example Kevin said that's on the screen right now. You can go peer to peer. It's similar to how like a DMVPN v3 works, except you're doing it as like a host address to a host address. You're not routing subnets or networks. So it's super cool. It really is. And there's a bunch of fallback mechanisms, right? If you can't reach one computer peer-to-peer, it will tunnel through, I think it's called a primary node that it can actually tunnel through if one primary node can reach both of the other endpoints. So there's tons of flexibility in it. Super cool.
Very, very cool. So, whoa, your camera went blurry there for a second and you became a very digitized version of yourself, all mixed in with that black background you have going on there. That was kind of fun. So Tony, this is a shorter show today. Typically we go about 2 hours, but I think that, just the pressure of this week, not as much content that we can put together. Not that it's short. I mean, we're at an hour and 15 minutes and it's been a blast the whole time. But I do think it's time. I think it's time to wrap up the show, and I think it's time to wrap up the show with Naked Hardware. So, woohoo, are you? Yeah, I thought you would be prepared.
We need like a sound. I need a sound effect for Naked Hardware.
Well, so here's the thing: we're not debuting it yet, but we have a Naked Hardware logo, and we're gonna have some other logos that we're working on getting built for the different segments of this show. Now, the Naked Hardware logo is a classic. It's a good one. And there may or may not, as in there is going to be swag with the Naked Hardware logo on it for people who win the Naked Hardware guessing competition. We got to come up with better words for these things, man. Like we
normally guessing competitions are called trivia.
Trivia, but it's not really trivia.
I call it a challenge. I call it the Naked Hardware Challenge.
Naked Hardware Challenge. Naked Hardware. Right, yeah. Naked Hardware Challenge. And so we're going to start changing up the way that we do prizes on this. We've talked about this. We're going to change up the way we're doing prizes. So there's going to be some tiered prizes. And I think we could thank Chris Cummings for this because of Mr. I Win All the Time. And we ran out of things to give him. I can only send him stickers so many times. Right? So I think that if you win once, you're going to get a nice little pack, stickers, maybe some swag, little stuff that you would normally get. If you win twice, that's tier one. That's tier one. Yeah. Tier one is the swag bag, couple of stickers and buttons and conference swag stuff. Yeah. Tier two, we're doing the mug. Yeah. So there is a specific, like, which I don't have an example. Yeah, no. Jordan, I don't have an example mug right now. No, you don't have an example mug because we don't have them yet. They're supposed to be here next week. They're being ordered and they're on their way. But there's a specific Naked Hardware Network Collective mug. You're going to want to have this. I want to have this. That
you can't buy in the store. You can only get by winning the Network Collective Challenge.
Yeah. And so that's tier 2. And did we decide what tier 3 was going to be?
Tier 3 is going to be, I think it's going to be a shirt. And I will do that. Not many people have gotten that far. Right. And we'll take care of that I'm good. So that's winning, 3. And we reset the counters at the beginning of the year. So far our winners, but we haven't even had 3 yet. So no one's hitting that mark yet, but it's very cool. Right. And I think at 3, you're done. We stop sending you swag. At 3, you're in a hold down timer, right? Just like a routing protocol. You're in a hold down timer. You have to wait at least 2 more cycles. Actually, I don't really know, but you can't win again. You're welcome to play, but at that point you will have exhausted our prize pack. That's right. So it'll be fun. So I think we've got some exciting things coming forward with that. So we've got to reveal who won last week. We've got to talk about the one this week. So is your desktop ready to go? It's still showing your Google Cloud. All right. They're up. Okay. Yeah. So first let's pull up the image and we'll show what last week's challenge was. Yeah. All right. Give me a second. My computer. This sucker's going to overheat. All right. Wow. Front and center. Yeah, that's a great one. All right. So this was last week's challenge. So the Naked Hardware Challenge is I show you guys a picture of hardware without its case on, without any clothes on, just a picture of the inside. And you guys have to identify what it is and answer the question on Twitter with the hashtag Network Collective. And you have to get as close to the make and model as possible. And we had a couple of winners this time. All right. So let's bring it up. I'm still getting your Google Google Cloud. Okay. I tell you what, this has, hang on a second. All right. We'll come back out here. Yeah. My Firefox has frozen on me. So bear with me a moment. Yeah, give us a second. Everyone will survive. Oh. So JT tweeted at you. I'm looking in our social app right now, and it's a picture, and it's a prove me wrong picture. I recognize it, but I need to go out on Twitter and see what it actually is before I throw this thing up on the stream, because I know JT rather well. Yeah, JT is one of the funniest networking personalities on Twitter. Okay, so I see yours. Maybe that's what came up. No? Maybe, he retweeted yours. I understand what it is now. I'm looking at this. I'm like, well, wait a minute. No, that's yours. Yeah. Thanks, Tony. I'm taking them away. All I have to do is just go and remove them. You keep pitting me down with these things, and you're going to lose your soundboard, Tony. It's going to be a sad day. Hang on. My computer's not frozen anymore. What did I miss? It went black for a second. What? Yeah, my computer went black for a second, but it's not frozen anymore. What did I miss? You making a joke about me? Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, nicely done. I've got your camera now on the desktop feed, so I'm sure. Assuming when you share, we should be good. Okay. All right. Let me pull this guy up. Yeah. If I can. Every time I load this image up, for something, it crashes my computer. I'm trying to just give it a minute to fully load, and off we go. Cool. All right. So let's do a screen share. Got it. No, there it is. Yeah, I got it. Okay, bring it up. Boom. Yeah. So the premise of the network, the Naked Hardware Challenge, is I show you guys a picture of a networking piece of hardware without any chassis, without any clothes on, and I try to hide some identifying marks, serial numbers, MAC addresses, logos, and you guys have to try and figure out what it is, and you have to answer using the hashtag Network Collective on our Twitter feed. And a couple of folks got this one right. So this was an old one that I pulled out. Actually, I have an old bass rig. I play bass, and it has a 19-inch rack, 1 RU space. And I slid this guy in there a long time ago as just a placeholder for it. And when I was trying to find like a nice, unique piece of hardware, I got that guy out and opened it up. And I'm glad I did, because I just wanted to see, like, what was the difference here. So this, I have answers folder.
Tony, I don't know what's going on, buddy, but your machine, I think, is struggling. You're starting to drop audio and some other stuff. So turn your fan on if you need to. Right. We'll deal with the audio.
Should be better. Better?
Yeah, it's good so far, yeah.
All right, you got the image on screen?
Yeah, images on screen.
Updated. Yeah, so this is this was right after Cisco bought Linksys. I don't know if you guys can see it yet, but this is a SRW 2024, 24-port gigabit switch. Got the mini GBICs and what is it, a 9-pin console port on the front.
That was the one that seemed to set everybody off, right? Like that seemed to be the indicator that everyone was pointing at, was this 9-pin console port off the front.
Oh, you know what? The vMix dropped me off. So let me just share it again.
Oh.
vMix had disconnected me. It's okay.
Oh, okay. I got you. Hold on. There we go.
Very cool. Yep. So this was the guy. This was our victim. Very cool little switch. Actually, I pulled this out of an office a long time ago. They had it on the wall, and I replaced it with an HP unmanaged switch of some sort. I don't know what it was. And this is just the front panel. I thought it was really cool, sort of how they stacked these LEDs. It sort of makes it like very digital looking, but it's actually just really cheap, flimsy plastic. And yeah, I just think it's always fascinating how these companies always light up the front panel LEDs. It's very often like an L-shaped piece of plastic that has the LED facing upward on the board, and it illuminates through the plastic, and that's how it shows on the face. Most of these pieces of hardware from different vendors. So that was the guy right there. That was them. And our winners are starting in order. From first place to third place, we have correct answers on this one. Oh. This was Chris Cummings, everybody, Chris Cummings.
Shocker, surprising.
Yeah. Actually, he came in a bit late on that one. I don't know if you remember, but he was trying to figure it out in chat. Yeah. And he struggled with that one a little bit. So he finally came around with an answer at about 10:21 p.m. All right, and our number two is, we need a drum roll. We need a drum roll. That's what we need.
I've got my pen. I've got my notepad.
Drum roll. Yeah, drum roll. Second place, Preston Roberts, everybody. All right, Preston. He was sort of making a guess. I don't know, maybe wrong. But he
says the exact right model of the exact right switch. Yeah. Maybe.
That's the equivalent of like, thought it was cute, might delete later.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Sam Clements. Hey, Network Collective. I'm going to call this one a Cisco Small Business Managed SRW 2024. Yeah, so it is a Linksys brand, but Cisco branded as well, co-branded. And 24-port external Ethernet switch.
Nice.
That's it right there. Those are our three winners, all right?
Sam.
One more for Sam.
Right, there we go.
All right, those are our winners. Very cool. All right, and then are we ready to do the unveil for this week?
Do it. Let's do it. Should I leave the screen up, or do you want me to take it off while you get it all positioned and ready?
Yeah, I'll pull this over here.
Yeah, here we go.
Just do it this way.
I'll just bring the two of us. You're good. You can do it on the screen now. It's not up on the stream.
All right, should be ready. Yeah, go ahead and grab it.
Okay, you ready?
All right.
Okay.
Yep, hit it live. All right, so this is our Naked Hardware Challenge for January 27th. Take a good look. I'm going to post this on our Twitter. If you guys know the make and model of this box right here, go ahead and post it with the hashtag Network Collective on Twitter and tell us what the make and model is, and we'll be evaluating answers next week on live stream. So that's it. I'm going to pull it down. That's enough. Little sneaky peek. Everyone else has to...
that's all you get. That's all you get right there.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. In fact, I'm not even going to post it on Twitter. That was it. You got to go back and watch the video again.
all of a sudden, Naked Hardware is getting really more difficult because now we're actually giving away some prizes. You won't win. Yeah, you won't win. No, we'll post it on Twitter after the show. You get a chance to look at it there. All right. Yeah. Well, Tony,
and it's going to be very cool. Let's see.
Oh, hold on.
That's definitely a line card from a Netgear core chassis switch. And I was thinking. I do have some pictures of like line cards and stuff too, but I didn't know if that's too offbeat. They already don't have chassis on them, right? They're line cards, but maybe we'll put that in the running.
I would say that they would probably be easier than other things because you actually intentionally look at the circuitry as part of the install process, right?
Right.
All right, man. Well, I think it's time to wrap it up. This was a lot of fun, even if it was stress to get here, but it's always fun, man. I enjoy this. Yeah. I think the trivia contest, everyone seemed to enjoy that. So we're going to do that. Yeah. So here's the deal. I am going to be figuring out what Tony said before. If you have questions, absolutely shoot me an email, shoot me a DM on Twitter, shoot me a DM on Slack if you're in the Slack, wherever. If you've got good questions you think would be good in the trivia. And by the way, if you submit good questions, you already know one of the answers to one of the questions. So please give me lots of questions because it gives you a leg up and it makes me do less work, which is just win-win-win for all the way around. So get them to me. Obviously, don't send them out publicly on Twitter because then we won't be able to use them, at least not anytime soon. So I think that with that, we'll wrap it up from here. Tony, always fun. Thank you to Mike Pfeiffer for coming on and sharing his story and being our guinea pig for the trivia contest. Thanks for everyone who tuned in and participated with us in real time. Subscribe, do all the stuff you're supposed to do. Networkcollector.com is where you find us. We're on Twitter. We're on all the regular places. Blah 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 blah. I think that's it. And Tony, your jet engine's running again, so we'll leave it go at that. Your computer's overheating, so I completely understand. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for listening. We'll see everyone soon.